Parshat Bo deals with the last of the three Makos, and ultimately the redemption, the exodus of the Jewish people from Egypt. The last of the Makos, the 10th Makkah, is the Makas Bechoros, is the plague of the firstborn. The Chumash describes this in source number 1. Moshe said, "So said Hashem, at about midnight, kachatzot, I shall go out in the midst of Egypt. Every firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Paro who sits on the throne, to the firstborn of the maidservant." Where were the Jewish people at the time of Makas Bechoros? So in Perek Yud Beis we know that Klal Yisrael had to take the Dam Milah, we spoke about this at length last year, the blood of the of Dam Pesach, the blood of the sacrificial lamb, and put it in a basin and put it on the doorposts, and Hashem will pass through to smite Egypt, and he will see the blood, and Hashem will pass over the entrance and will not permit this destroyer to enter your homes to smite. This is the idea that is mentioned in the Haggadah in source number 6, that we say at the night of the Seder or Seders, that Hashem brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, with great awe, with signs and with wonder. And the Haggadah darshans out that Hashem brought us out of Egypt, lo yidei malach, lo yidei saraf, lo yidei shaliach, not through an angel, not through any emissary, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chavodo u'ba'atzmo. Hashem himself brought us out of Egypt. I'd like to raise 3 very basic questions on this, on these psukim, and take a look at 3 levels of understanding of most of these ideas. Question number 1 is a technical question. Why is it specifically at midnight that Hashem comes out? What is the mindset of midnight? What is the specialness of this time? Question number 2 is, what is the whole inyan that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself has to come and do this plague? All other 9 plagues were done through an emissary. Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron were the ones who were involved in actually beginning the plague, so to speak. Obviously, all the plagues came from Hashem. Why is it that this plague, HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvodo b'atzmo, this last plague, Hashem himself comes and does this? And a little bit more deeper than that is, what is the significance of this moment when Hashem himself comes down with his full glory, with Gilui Shechina, with the revelation of godliness, to perform this miracle? And the final question, which Yechikre Lev asks in source number 7, V'kashem madua dafka b'makas b'choros v'chim Yisrael lasog b'mitzvot shetagain alehem. Why is it specifically in this Makkah that Klal Yisrael have to involve themselves, whether it's putting the blood on the doorpost, whether it's going through the mitzvos of Korban Pesach and Milah, of sitting in their house and eating the Korban Pesach? Why is it in this particular Makkah, Klal Yisrael has to do something in order to gain protection? When we look at all the other 9 Makkos, Klal Yisrael are saved, right? The blood didn't enter into their water cisterns, and the frogs didn't enter into their beds, and yet we don't see that the Jewish people had to do anything to gain this protection. What was unique, what was unusual about this 10th plague that necessitated a response from the Jewish people? And obviously our overall question, and this is our overall question every week, my friends, and this is the question that has to drive us in learning, is what does these ideas, how do these ideas speak to us today? How can we relate to these ideas in terms of integrating them into our lives as Avdei Hashem, as servants of Hashem, that the Parsha is speaking to us, that gives us a personal directive in our own lives where we are functioning, wherever we may be in life. Before we begin the 3 levels, I'd just like to make a ha'ara, a very interesting insight, since this shir is given at least first round over to women. And that is the idea of the Bala Rokeach, brought down in the Tali Orosh Shnai Mikra in source 4, where the halacha says, the Shulchan Aruch says, HaBechoros mit'anim be'erev Pesach, that because Hashem did this miracle to the firstborn males, that they were not killed among the Jewish people, only the firstborn of the Egyptians. So we have this idea of fasting on Erev Pesach. And there are those that say that even a firstborn woman fasts, and that's based on the opinion that even firstborn girls died in Egypt. And the Ramah says, our minhag is not to do so. And indeed, I have met women from certain Sephardi communities, very specific ones, that indeed their minhag was and is for women to fast Tanis Bechoros. So the Rokeach asks on the Ramah ve'ein ha-minhag kain that women do not fast. He says, Nira lomar ki ascharim tu'umim pijon v'gam tanis, lefi shegam hem hayu chayavim klayat. That indeed the boys, the Jewish boys, the eldest, were also in danger. As the Sar Shamitzrayim, the archangel, said, Halalu of De'avodah Zarah, Halalu of De'avodah Zarah. We'll talk more about this in Mir Tzashem. Both of them worship idols. Why should the Jewish boys be saved? So they too should have died. But this argument doesn't work for the women, because our rabbis say, B'zchut noshim sitkani yoshevoto or dor nigalu. V'im kein hadin nita shelo yoku, lakach ein tzvicho lo pidyon v'lo tanis. Why do women not need to go through the pidyon event